Hello and welcome to Unwind Sessions, where right after my shift I give the highlights of my workday and answer any questions that might have been asked at a previous session. My name is Juan. I am an English, Spanish, medical video remote consecutive interpreter with over 4 years of experience. Today is Monday, July 12, 2021, and I honestly don't know how many calls I took today. The reason being is because I didn't finish my shift today. I worked like 6 hours and a half today and I quit. So today this video is not right after my shift. It's like 3.5 hours after my shift. So I have no idea how many calls I took today, but I mean, we can average it from the other sessions, right? So I would say probably like around 20. I don't know, but let me tell you the reason why I didn't finish my shift and why I don't know how many calls I took today is because I just signed my life away for a new house. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Like, cha-ching, another win for the big banks, right? They just bagged another 30-year debt, which, yeah, oh man, it just seems like mind-numbing whenever I think I'm gonna be paying that house off for 30 years. But anyways, I have my piece of land now that makes me feel very good, so I'm very excited about that. And yeah, so moving on, today I am just gonna go right into this video and answer one of our viewers' questions. And this question comes from Abad Pena. Now I want to say that's Abad Peña, but I'm just gonna keep it as Abad Pena because, you know, if you know the channel, we never assume here. And if you don't know why we don't, look up the channel about why you should look up the joke why you should never assume, and that's why we don't do it. So let's get right to it. And his question is, hello Juan, I'm scheduling my second medical interpreting test with NBCMI. It's the consecutive interpreting part. I was wondering if you have any advice for me to pass the test. Now, this is a great question and I hope you do very well, and please let me know how you did right after you go ahead and take that test and they give you your score. I wish you all the luck in the world and I hope that you do very well. Now, before I answer your question, I want to let you know that I am not certified. I have never taken this test, nor will I ever, since I'm planning of moving away from the interpretation game and it just no longer makes sense for me to get certified. That's just something to keep in mind while you listen to the advice that I'm going to give you in this video. Now, having said that, I have taken 3 oral interpretation tests, from which everything that I have heard were a cakewalk compared to the CCHI and the NBCMI. I have another video that might be of help, and it is titled Tips for Tests. I suggest that you also go ahead and look at that video because I will not be talking about, I don't think, anything that I mentioned in that video. So getting on to your questions, now to answer your question, I have found an article online called the 7 Tips to Pass the NBCMI Oral Exam for Medical Interpreter Certification by Sari McClement. Go ahead and give that article a look. It's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and read Sari's tips. I think it's her, but I don't know. So I'm just for the sake of, well, I'm not even going to use that. I'm just going to go straight into the tips. So tip number 1, partner up. Now, the person that wrote this article says, find someone that speaks the languages you are doing your certification on and practice with them. Now, this definitely makes a lot of sense, and I wish I would have thought about this whenever I was practicing for my test. Well, actually, I only had the opportunity to partner up with a great partner for my first test and I didn't do it. So like, definitely if you have someone that speaks both of the languages that you're gonna be testing on, yeah, go ahead and partner up with them and have them help you passing this test. I don't think you're gonna have a better ally. And why do I say that I wish I would have known about this? Because me and my sister Carla, who is also a founder of this channel, she was taking the same training with me, and we took the same test and everything. So I mean, if I would have thought about that, man, that would have been a lifesaver. But to be honest, if we would have thought about that, we probably would have never started this channel. But yeah, that is the best advice. I mean, what could have been best, right? To soon to be interpreters, two aspiring interpreters helping each other, and now they don't necessarily need to be interpreters. Just as long as they speak both languages, they are going to be very, very great help. Now, for all of my tests, of course, my lovely wife, she was the one to practice with me, and she doesn't speak English, so there was some limitations there. But I mean, some practice or a half-ass practice is better than no practice, believe me on that one. So yeah, definitely the best advice that I've ever heard. Partner up with someone and work with them. Now, the article says that you should practice at least once a week for 5 weeks, but I'm gonna add that the more the better. The more you can actually do it, that is going to be best. And now, I know this is going to be tough because, I mean, if the person is not actually working to become an interpreter, and I just thought of a great idea. I mean, we have the internet now, right? Like, you can go into a Facebook group and find people that are actually preparing for the test as well, and there you go, voila. Couple partnership made in heaven, right? If you guys get along, actually. But yeah, and do it the more. And of course, I find this better because if both of you are actually training for the same thing, then of course you are going to make time and you are going to have time to practice, right? But on the other hand, if the other person is just there to help you, even though they're going to be nice enough and they're going to be great to help you, like my wife, well, they have other stuff to do, right? So getting that schedule is going to be a little difficult. So to add to this tip, and I just thought about that right now, look for someone in Facebook. I mean, there's a lot of interpreter Facebook groups for newbies and everything, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be set if you find a great partner that can actually help you with that one. So yeah, definitely tip number 1, I love this tip, partner up. Tip number 2, ask the other person to prepare the scripts. Now, this is awesome, but honestly, like, this is a lot of work for the other party, and it takes me 2 hours of work and research to do a well-made script of about 1,000 words for medical interpreting. So getting a really good practice scenario from someone who is not medically oriented might be hard to find, and it might be a little too much to ask of the other person, right? Unless you pay them. And if you pay them and they write some good scripts, then you can sell the scripts to us right afterward, and yeah, you got yourself some money from practicing. So yeah, go ahead and do that. We'll buy your scripts as long as they're good. But now, yeah, I mean, tip number 2, yes, it sounds perfect, it sounds great, and it sounds really good, but it might not be doable for most people. Now, it will be perfect if both of you are practicing for the same exam, right? You can write your own scripts and the other person can write their own scripts, and now you have twice the scripts to sell us. I'm just kidding. But because you're gonna practice, and by making your scripts and research, then you are going to get practice. And by practicing the other person's, then boom, double the practice. So definitely a good tip, but you are going to, it's hard. Like, honestly, right off the top of my head, if I needed someone to write scripts for me well, I mean, look, we don't even have scripts. We don't even, well, we haven't put out any new medical practice videos because of the lack of scripts. I've been trying to find someone for a long time to write scripts, and it's been very, very, very hard to do. Also because of the lack of money that we have to actually invest into the channel, but that's getting better little by little. But I found someone now. I found someone, and I only have one person doing scripts right now. So if you guys want to hop on this bandwagon, this is your chance. But yeah, I mean, that sounds like a great tip. But honestly, getting someone, I find it very, very difficult. And I mean, you can find someone, but someone that is actually going to make you scripts that are actually going to be like really, really good practice for the test. Yeah, I don't know about that. So tip number 2, awesome, but maybe not that real for most people. Tip number 3, use a listening device. Yeah, definitely. And I love this one because like it's trying to simulate what you're gonna be doing in the test, right? In the test, the article says that you have a headset and you're listening and you have a little mic. So it makes sense. I mean, go ahead and do it. And you could just wear your headphones, right? Everybody has headphones nowadays with a microphone, and I think that's good enough to simulate the experience. But definitely, I would say do it, because you want to practice as close to the real thing as you can. So if that means wearing a headset or headphones, I would say go ahead and do it. So yeah, definitely, this is solid advice to me. Tip number 3, use a listening device. Tip number 4, take notes. Take notes. Take your note with you. How could you take a note, right? I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are moats like in England, the castles and stuff. But how are you gonna take your moat with you? So sorry about that. I'm just very excited because of the house. So take notes, and yeah, this one should come as a no-brainer, right? Now, no notes, you will be limited by your short memory retention to interpret long utterances. So yeah, definitely take notes, and you should be taking notes right now to this video. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely work those notes, and I have a lot of videos. They have note taking in the title, so go ahead and look at those videos for some good advice on note taking. And yeah, practice notes, and you should always be interpreting with notes. If you're not interpreting with notes, then I would say don't accept payment, because you're gonna be doing a bad job. Or actually, I'm speaking about myself, and I'm speaking to myself right now, okay? So yeah, but I think that goes for everybody, right? If you're not taking notes, you're not gonna do a good job. So yeah, take notes, tip number 4. Tip number 5, visualize scenarios. Now this is my number 1 trick to be able to interpret long utterances. Now if I do not visualize, I could not even begin to make sense of my notes. And I have a video about this. I don't remember which one it is exactly, but one that has memory in the title. That one is it, but there's like 3 or 4 that have memory in the title, so you're gonna have to look at them, and hey, maybe you're gonna get some good advice anyways from all the videos, right? So go ahead and look at those videos. And one thing that I have noticed is that sometimes, like when I'm writing my notes, sometimes when I have to read my notes back and give the story back, like read the utterance back, right? And I have to interpret it. Sometimes one little note, like I don't even know what it says or anything, but as the story progresses in my mind, like I'm seeing the story of my mind of what they told me, and then like since it's in chronological order and everything, since by the time I get to that note, like maybe I don't remember it once right away, but it takes me a couple of seconds. But since I need to continue the story, the visualization and the story allows me to go ahead and remember that note so that I can go ahead and interpret and give my utterance. So yeah, visualize scenarios. Definitely tip number 5, good solid advice. Yes, take that and visualize those scenarios for sure. All right, and tip number 6 says start small and build your way up. Now I ask Now, I also talk about this in a video with memory in the title. I don't remember which one, but yeah, I mean, it is impossible to start doing long interpretations right off the bat with no experience. So definitely start small with any new task that you expect to that you expect to perfect in the long run. Now, I have yet to do a series about this, and this idea came when I was talking about the advice to improve memory or memory retention. I don't remember what I was talking about, but it was something about memory. And what I want to do is I actually want to make videos that have like a set amount of time of an utterance to them, right? So for example, make a video that utterances just last 1 minute. Now, why do I want to make this? Because I think this is going to help a lot of us, myself included, to actually go ahead and see how the length of utterances, right, that we can actually interpret accurately. And not only that, but we can also improve or short-term memory. Like if we don't use notes with those utterances, then we can improve our short-term memory. And of course, like once we start using notes, then we can improve our short-term memory with the notes and visualization and everything. So yeah, definitely this is something that I want to do, and I am thinking about it. I haven't done anything to it because of a lack of time, but yeah, expect that in the future, a new series with segments that last a certain amount of time, so that we can actually go ahead and gauge how long are the utterances or limits for interpretations, right? Now, just one thing to keep in mind, the goal is going to be 10 minutes of an utterance for me. I don't know for everyone else, but I read somewhere that the best interpreters can interpret like 10 minutes or more. So now 10 minutes, that seems daunting and that seems impossible to me, but I hope to be able to reach that amount in the future, of course, once we start doing that series. So yeah, definitely start small and build your way up. Maybe you can have the person mind like the scenarios that they're doing for you, right? And maybe just limit themselves to like two sentences or 2 lines, or what do I know, right? But whatever you are comfortable with now, and then have them work up so that you can actually improve, and that's the only way to get better. Now, tip number 7, don't give up. Oh, hold on. Tip number 6, start small and build your way up. Definitely, yes. Solid advice. So tip number 7, don't give up. And yeah, of course, do not give up. If you have decided that this is what you want, don't get discouraged and just keep at it. Like that one joke, right? How does one get to Carnegie Hall? And if you don't know that joke, well, practice, practice, practice. And there's no substitute for practice, blood, tears, and sweat. Now, if you're getting overheated, if you're just blocking up, like there's too much information in your brain and you just can't interpret no more, it's okay to take a break. Take a break as long as you need, but always come back, and with a fresh mind, you can tackle whatever the practice for your test, right? I was gonna say whatever it is, but no, we definitely know what you're doing right now, that you're practicing for your test. So take breaks. I also give advice on this on the preparing for tests. So yeah, definitely don't give up. Tip number 7, yes, I love that tip as well. And another thing that is mentioned in this article, but it doesn't treat it like a tip, but I would say tip number 8, thank your partner. Definitely, man. If that person is willing to do all that for you, yeah, definitely they need a big thanks. Like, they're helping you accomplish a big goal, right? A big milestone in your life. So I would say don't just give them thanks. I mean, buy them something with your first check or something. Of course, if your economy allows it, right? Your personal finances allow it. So definitely thank them. And just as a recap for the tips, So there's wonderful tips. Tip number 1, partner up. Tip number 2, ask the other person to prepare the scripts. Tip number 3, use a listening device. Tip number 4, take notes. Tip number 5, visualize scenarios. Tip number 6, start small and build your way up. And tip number 7, don't give up. And tip number 8, thank your partner for doing all those wonderful things for you. So definitely, I really love this article. Have a look at it. I don't know if I'll be posting the link to this article. If I remember it, I will. I don't know, I just got so much stuff on my mind right now, but yeah, I mean, that's that. And I hope that this advice can help you. I hope that the rest of my other videos that I've recommended can also help you. So that is going to be pretty much it for me today. Please leave your questions on the comments and I will answer some of them on the next session. I'll be here every Monday through Friday after work. Remember that we have a Patreon page where with as little as $1 of your support, you can help motivate us to create more content, and you can have access to all the medical practice videos free, scripts, answer sheets, vocabulary lists, and much more content. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and if you like the video, here's stuff, more content, and don't forget to share. Happy interpreting. Goodbye and good luck on your test, man.